From the 22 News Plus studio, this is 22 News in Focus with Patrick Berry.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of InFocus. I'm your host, Patrick Berry. An exciting conversation today because we're talking about the safety of you, me, and all of our neighbors, friends, and family. It's a new program being rolled out, it's already rolled out in Chicopee. It's called the Real-Time Information Center, and I'm very happy today to be joined by the Chicopee Chief of Police, Eric Watson, and the Chicopee Mayor, John Vieau. Thank you both, gentlemen, for being here. I really do appreciate your time. Mayor, I do want to start with you, if you don't mind. Give us an overview of what this is, what this idea is, where it came from, and what you hope to see from it.
So thank you for having us, Patrick. And I'll just share, I'm excited to be here to talk about public safety. I think it's paramount to the success of any community, especially the city of Chicopee. I'm a little biased as mayor, but our goal is to protect our community and our police officers and public safety professionals. And that's what we're really doing with this technology. Chicopee has evolved into a cutting edge community when it comes to using AI, cameras, and integrated all together. We just take in so much data, and all that data now is available instantly with the real-time information center. So we're excited to share some of the thoughts about it. I brought my expert. So I have the chief, Eric Watson, who really has spearheaded this effort with our former chief, Pat Major. And it has evolved from more of a camera system, an early network, probably dating back 15, 20 years, into something really special where we have cameras all over the city. They're there just for us in instant emergency
In
or
crime fighting.
need for access,
Right.
not for monitoring. They're there for emergency reasons, and crime doesn't know boundaries. So we're excited to unveil how this works and give the people just a better insight on what the real-time information center is and what it's all about and how you can participate.
Perfect segue. Chief, I want to go to you now to kind of take what the mayor said and expand a little bit more about the use of it, where it came from. Your predecessor, I believe, if I understand correctly, your predecessor started this idea. Where are we today with it?
So we started back a couple years ago with Chief Patrick Major with an idea of bringing in a real-time crime center to the city. Our particular style of that was more of a real-time information center. We focused on that. And it was one of the projects that he wanted to complete before his retirement, and we were able to do that. The idea of it is taking all the information that we have, whether it's cameras, license plate cameras, various databases, and make that all available to what we call our real-time investigative analysts. And as the calls come in, they're monitoring the calls for service, and they do three things. They provide real-time operational support, which is basically the call comes in, they're going to check the cameras at the scene to make sure the scene is safe, to see if there's any information that they can provide the officers, to see if there's any information on maybe a suspect vehicle leaving the scene, and relay that out to our officers. And then look up through our databases, anything maybe that are hazards for the officers to be concerned about.
So is this a system that is, I guess, used in the immediacy of an event happening, or an everyday sort of monitoring? So let's just say you get a call on Grattan Street, and all of a sudden, and I'm just making this up, I don't even know where the cameras are there, I'm just making this up. All of a sudden, you get a call, there's an incident on Grattan, and now you have staff that quickly goes to this network of information gathering to quickly respond. Do I understand it?
Yeah, so basically it's putting the police department in one way, shape, or form digitally on scene instantly. So it allows us to basically arrive immediately at a scene and start gathering information for our officers.
So before a cop, a member of your staff can even get there, which usually I have to imagine your response time is very quick, but digital is almost instantaneous. So before somebody from your staff can even get there, you have a group of people already examining the digital assets to help stop a crime or solve a crime.
We do, and we have means to take, whether it's screenshots or videos, and get that out to every officer immediately. So they all have a smartphone, and we have the ability to send out the images immediately to their laptops or so their cellular devices, so that they'll have that, maybe a picture of a fleeing vehicle, actually a picture of the car while they're on the way to the scene so that they know exactly what they're looking for.
Mayor View, is this unique, this system unique to Western Mass, or is this being implemented in other communities and Chicopee is capitalizing on the technology?
Well, the city of Springfield has launched the real-time crime
Okay.
center, and I'll share that it's very similar to what we're doing, except I think we're really using the power of AI for really positive, I'll say, just a positive portion of what we do. It's about focusing on taking data and making it available in real time. So, like mentioned, that there's just so much advancement with the power of AI. You can identify someone who potentially may be lost wearing a red jacket, and we could find and look through hours and hours of footage in seconds and be able to see all the red jackets in that time frame of when that person potentially was missing. So it's more about looking at it from a sense of solving crime and deterring crime. We can also look at crime, I'll just say statistics, and see where prominent things are happening and addressing them accordingly.
So, Chief, to follow up on what the mayor said, I may have misunderstood. So you have this database of information, but you can type in like red sweatshirt in the artificial intelligence will search all this information and pull up images or scenes where there's somebody in a red sweatshirt?
Exactly.
Oh
So,
my God.
and we don't use facial recognition, just to be clear,
Okay.
but we do use object and attribute recognition. So that could be a red shirt, that could be a backpack, that could be a red
Black
car,
Toyota.
it could be a pickup truck, and we don't know anything more. We don't even need a color, so we could narrow it down to that. So that actually, I give you an example. We had a missing person that was actually arrested at the police department. They were released at around midnight. 36 hours later, their family came in and said, "Hey, we haven't seen this person in 36 hours." And last that we knew, they were here at the police station. Our analysts, before the officer could even go to get his report filled out, they were able to track him through the whole entire city, 36 hours of walking around in 10 minutes and find him live sitting on outside of a business. And the officer
Really?
was able to go out there and get them the help that they needed. So uh, it's been very,
Great
very
success
useful.
story right there.
I mean, you can imagine many other situations where that could be. That was just a simple missing person, wasn't really endangered, but
Right.
you put that into any number of situations where it could really, time makes a big difference.
Very good. We are up on our first commercial break. Stay with us. We've got plenty more to talk about when it comes to the real-time information system real-time information center taking place in Chicopee. We're back in just a moment.
This is 22 News in Focus with Patrick Berry. This is 22 News in Focus with Patrick Berry.
Welcome back, everyone, to this edition of In Focus. I'm your host, Patrick Berry, sitting across the desk from me from the city of Chicopee. The gentleman in uniform is your police chief, Eric Watson, and the beautiful gentleman in the suit is your mayor's John View. Gentlemen, thank you both so very much for joining me. I appreciate it. In the first portion of this conversation, we talked about the artificial intelligence side of it. One of the things that I'm thinking about is if an officer is in a foot pursuit, how does this help, or does it not? Does this system not help when you're in a foot pursuit? You're not on the phone. You're not looking at a laptop. You're in the throes of an emergency. Does the system sort of stop at that point, or can it still help an officer?
That's a good point on two counts. There's multiple reasons that the real-time information center exists and multiple functions, but that real-time operational support always defaults to the top. Everything else stops, and they'll assist an officer. But in the example you gave of a foot pursuit, that's a really good example. So the officers all have body cameras now. When an officer is in a dangerous situation, the real-time information center can live stream that video feed into the real-time information center and see and hear what the officer sees and hears. In an example where a foot pursuit was happening, very difficult for an officer to get on the radio, try to give a description out of the suspect.
He's busy doing other things.
And even try to, when you jump a couple fences, you probably don't know where you are anymore.
Right.
So the real-time information center can broadcast the officer's location, the direction that they're running, and any other information, and take that radio over for them so that they can concentrate on what they're doing and we can get him help where he is at that moment.
So as you explain that, that in and of itself is worth the price of the whole system right there. Because if, how many times, I don't need the numbers, but how many times a day, week, or month does a situation like that happen where an officer is out of their vehicle chasing someone, or even not even chasing, just doing something?
Every situation where an officer feels uncomfortable.
Right.
They're alone and they show up to a call, they can immediately have the analyst joining them on that call in real time, which is just an incredible, again, using technology to its fullest potential by making sure we're protecting our officers. They're going into situations alone that now their body cam is, everyone can see exactly what they're doing. So it helps in so many different facets of protecting not just the community, but the first responder who's showing up to the scene.
There's some pieces of information you sent me. I'm pulling it up now. This one here, Chief, this is just your FAQ, your frequently asked questions, which is, I thumbed through it earlier. It's pretty thorough. A daily life, RTIC in the daily life of residents of Chicopee, which actually brings up a good question, because I have to imagine the residents are concerned with daily life. I'm driving to the grocery store, I'm driving to the bank, I'm going to work. Residents are being monitored of their comings and goings. Is that a concern that people need to have?
We're not monitoring. There's nobody in there that's really watching for crimes to happen. I mean, there are video feeds up on the wall, but it's not something that their main function is not that. It's not surveillance. It's to be used when something happens to them, and they're going to expect us to be able to solve that crime or help them faster and better, more efficiently, and that's what it's used for.
So that's a very good point. And as I picture the inside of your police station, a wall of monitors from all of these cameras are throughout the city. No one's sitting there watching it all the time, but when an incident happens, then it triggers. I have to imagine there's specific steps that it triggers. That now the information that's on all those cameras throughout the city is helping you solve crimes or stop crimes.
Correct. And everything's in a public area. It's no different than an officer looking out his car window as he drives around. There's no private areas. So it's wherever there's no privacy rights. So just out in the public.
All of our cameras are in public spaces. There's an elaborate system that's continuing to grow, and there's plate readers strategically placed in access points in and out of our city. We want to make sure that we're protecting our community and our public spaces. It's what it's all about, is trying to find those locations, whether it be the bike path, certain intersections. There's many cameras that are available to, again, just bringing the police there in real time, instantly, when they need to be there. So no one's getting monitored. It's all about reacting to the situation that's at hand and having eyes on it immediately, like an officer pulling up instantaneously, which is just incredible to have that to protect our community. And it's really proven itself in its infancy stages over the last few months that it's been rolled out. There are so many wonderful success stories just from protecting the community and protecting an officer who may be in harm's way.
You mentioned early on that Springfield already has this, if not the same system, something very similar. Do the communities work together, and do Chicopee and Springfield work with other communities regionally or across the state?
We do, and that I think is what sets us apart from other centers. We developed this with the idea to be regional and to look beyond our borders. So right away, we partnered with the Hampden County Sheriff's Department. 3 of our analysts are actually Sheriff's Department employees. So just given that, we have resources outside the city, and we're able to help other communities as well. And we do work together with Springfield and all the other communities in the region.
And is it, because we're so close to the Connecticut border, is it just a Massachusetts thing, or do we have help in Enfield, Windsor Locks?
We have connections up and down through Enfield and Hartford and out into New York and up into Vermont. So we have connections with other centers and analysis centers and other places, and we regularly assist them.
Crime doesn't know boundaries. And
right.
I'll share that there's been success stories of us helping other states with a particular crime or an incident, something that's happened, and reaching out to our crime information center, our real-time information center for support. And it's been tremendous to just see those success stories where a bad guy gets apprehended.
Right, right. We are up on our second commercial break. Please stay with us. We've got plenty more to talk about. We're back in just a moment.
This is 22 News in Focus with Patrick Berry. This is 22 News in Focus with Patrick Berry.
Welcome back, everyone, to this edition of In Focus. Today, we're talking about the Real-Time Information Center that is happening in the city of Chicopee. Joining me across the desk is this Chicopee Police Chief Eric Watson and your Mayor, John Vieau. Gentlemen, thank you both for joining me. I appreciate it. You know, Chief, you shared a story, during one of the previous parts of this conversation. Are there any other, and it was a real example of something that took place. Are there any other examples that you can share, and without getting into privacy issues, that proves that this system works?
We could give you solve stories all day long. The analysts are solving crimes all day long, but it's not always just about crimes. It's quality of life issues and other public safety emergencies. Just one of the examples was a resident was driving down the street. There was a 3-year-old on the side of the road, just alone, walking. They called the police, and we were able to play that video backwards and find out exactly what door that child came from and get him home. And that would have been a situation where the child was home with their brother. They probably weren't going to call. They didn't even notice. It would have been some time going by before we even got that report.
And trying to communicate with a 3-year-old,
right?
Brutal to get the information. Most 3-year-olds don't know where they live, or
exactly.
But to be able to rewind the tape to see exactly where the door that child walked out of,
walk them right back home.
Wow. We've talked a lot about this network of cameras. Are these all cameras that the city owns, or is it a combination of city and resident and business cameras that come together to create this network?
So the primary group of our cameras are city-owned cameras.
Okay.
However, we do have a program where we can share cameras with residents and businesses. We call it Connect Chicopee. It's our next generation neighborhood watch, and there are 2 ways to participate, which are totally voluntary. One is just telling us that you have a camera, so that if something happens in your neighborhood, we can reach out and we can ask you to take a look at your cameras. And if you do and you want to send us some information, you can do that. And then there's also camera integration, where we can provide a device that will connect your cameras to our system. And then if something happens at your business, for example, we're able to pull up that feed instead of waiting days or hours to come to you and ask you for the video footage.
As you're talking, I pulled up it's the connectchicopee.org website, correct, Chief?
Correct.
And this is where residents, businesses can voluntarily add their camera to the network, right?
Exactly.
What other information? Oh my God, 112 registered cameras already, and 512 integrated just across the city. So is this every inch of the city? Not inch, but you know what I mean, like across the city? Or are these cameras in targeted areas where you usually have problems?
So the cameras are located in public spaces, and the police have taken preference, the department themselves, on actually where we want to put the cameras. But first I want to say thank you for getting this message out, because it's about letting people know that you can register your door,
Your Ring camera or whatever. Yeah.
You can register your cameras and just let us know that you have one. Or you can actually integrate, like 22 News could say, we don't want you to see our inside cameras, but we would love for you to be able to see our outside cameras, maybe for the parking lot, to, heaven forbid, something happens in this parking lot. We would have immediate access to your camera only in that instant when you call. So that's just another bonus for a business holder, a stakeholder in Chicopee, to have us access their cameras, especially the ones that they want us to.
So
you can choose.
You can register your camera even though it's not live.
Correct.
So if something happens on my street, I may have registered it, but you're not looking at it from the police station. You call, hey, Patrick,
we'll ask you for help.
Right. We saw something happening on your street. Can we you registered your camera. Can we access it?
Exactly.
Oh, wow. So this to me seems like light years ahead of no offense, where Chicopee and Western Mass should be. This is like FBI kind of stuff, which is really kind of cool. Do you see this as the wave of crime fighting in the future?
It is, and when it comes to technology and artificial intelligence and networking with other agencies and regionalizing, to me, and I've always said this, to me, it would be irresponsible to not go down this path if we can. So this is absolutely it's the now. I mean, it's here. If we might as well stay ahead while we can.
So when you first entered the police force, however many years ago, did you think AI would be helping you solve crimes every day?
Never.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, Chief, Mayor, you have to be honored to have this technology in Chicopee, not just for helping Chicopee residents, but really regional area residents. Because as you said earlier, you're connecting with law enforcement up and down the Route 91 corridor, east-west Turnpike corridor. It just makes all of us safer. I mean, am I wrong on going down that avenue?
I think that public safety is paramount to the success of your community. And we have really invested in that here. And I'll share that we're seeing lateral transfers from other departments that want to come and use this technology for the first time in decades, that we're seeing that patrolmen want to come work for the city of Chicopee,
Wow.
patrolmen and women. And we're excited about this wonderful opportunity for them to join our team. And also, it's like, if you don't feel safe when you put your head down at your pillow at night, you're not going to want to live here. Our services are fantastic. And we just want you to feel safe. And I believe that the implementation of this elaborate system using the power of AI, next generation neighborhood crime watches is the future. We're invested in it. We're committed to keeping our first responders safe, and as they're out there protecting this community. And I couldn't think of a better way. So I want to thank the chief, because he has spearheaded this and he's been instrumental. Came back from New Orleans with this idea that we need to invest.
Well, that was my question: is where did this idea come from?
So real-time information centers, crime centers, operations centers have been popping up all over the country. It's not something new, but it's something typically the Northeast lags behind in technology. And you're going to see, the West, Southwest areas probably innovating faster than we do. So catching up in the Northeast is generally a challenge, but with the support of the mayor and the city council, we've been able to do that.
Have you been in contact with any communities near us that don't have it? I live in Westfield. I don't know if Holyoke has it, Northampton, Greenfield, or Amherst. I don't know. Have other communities come to you and said, "Hey, I want to take a look at this"?
They have. Springfield has their own. It's a little bit different than ours, but it's a great center that they have. But we've had visits from pretty much everybody in the area, and there's discussion on how we can partner together. And part of that, one of the things that we're so proud of being able to, with the help of the sheriff's department right now, operate regionally. I mean, our city can't be safe if our region isn't safe.
Exactly.
So that's why we're really happy to partner with the sheriff's department and also look at these other communities on how we can partner with them as well.
Fantastic. This is great stuff. Thank you both for joining me today, talking about it. Congratulations on this. I'm jealous of the people in Chicopee, the residents of Chicopee, that have this to help keep them safe at night. Wonderful chatting with you both. Best of success to you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
This is 22 News in Focus with Patrick Berry.